Upgrades.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. This here is Mr. Alexander Payne's latest masterpiece. And I mean that in the best way humanly possible. This one is called The Holdovers. And here is a quick synopsis. Instructor Paul at a New England prep school who is forced to remain on campus during a Christmas break to babysit a handful of students with nowhere to go. He eventually forms a bond with one of them, a damaged, brainy troublemaker named Angus, and with the school's head cook, who has just lost her son in Vietnam. And then this stars Paul Giamatti. It stars Divine Joy Randolph and a newcomer, Dominic Sessa. I hope I'm saying your name right. He plays Angus in this film. This is possibly the most enjoyable Alexander Payne film I've ever seen. And I love Descendants. I love Sideways. Nebraska was good. But this film here is possibly the best Alexander Payne film that I've seen. As we open up to Barton Academy for the boys. It's a high school, a prep high school here. And we're introduced as Paul Giamatti's character. Is a professor who is as hard-nosed and just an a-hole to his students. That's the best way to put this character here. But he's so pompous in the way that he talks and the way he deals with the students. And when that is shown on film, it is absolutely hilarious here. But then we get to the point of the kids going on Christmas break. One of the teachers lies his way out of it. And then Paul ends up having to stay on as a teacher for this because the headmaster of the school absolutely is mad at Paul for something that he did to another student that cost the school money. When we get to the point of dealing with these holdovers, it's where this film becomes extremely funny. Because we see here of a teacher in Paul who just does not like children, it almost seems like. And he absolutely despises that he has to take care of them during Christmas break. We also get Miss Divine Randolph, who plays Mary here, having to deal with her son having went off to war and having passed away from the war. But she's still the head cook of this school, and her also staying over for Christmas break because she has nowhere to go. That's when we get the kinship of everything. And that's when we get the kinship of the children. Now, not to give away the story, but it starts off as 5 kids and it ends as 1 kid that's still there at the school. Not in a bad way, but that's the way it ends up. And through this, we see the relationship between Paul and Angus grow, but we also see the relationship with Mary and Paul grow. This film is strictly about relationships and how people deal with them in difficult circumstances here. Like, all these characters are extremely flawed, but they're supposed to be. Angus is a troublemaker just because he's having a problem of dealing with life, of losing his dad, having a mom who almost seems like she does not care that much about him anymore as she's trying to reestablish her life. You have Paul, who is played this by Paul Giamatti as this teacher who just seems to be unhappy with life. He obsessively drinks so much Jim Beam in this movie. It is ridiculous. But he just seems to be just an unhappy person just because possibly he did not live up to his life goals. And then we have Mary, played by Miss Divine Randolph, who is heartbreaking in this film, of her losing her only son after taking a job as a cook at the school to provide the best education possible for her son. It's so much to unpack with that Mary character, but Miss Divine Randolph does an Oscar caliber job of playing this character. Mary is the best character in this film. Angus is a very interesting character, and Dominic, who is a newcomer here, I think this is his first role. He's really good in this film. Paul Giamatti is Paul Giamatti. You know what you're going to get out of him. But Divine Randolph here as Mary is the best character in this story. And it's the one that you are fixated on every time she's on screen because her story is so heartbreaking. But yet we rarely see her break down because of it. Like it's a lot to say and it's a lot to showcase of this character, but that's what makes this film good. Beyond that, this film just becomes the basic growing pains type of film. You put these people into a room together, they're eventually going to get to know and to respect each other. Secrets are going to be told amongst each other. But what we have here and what really separates it is that Paul and Angus still have no issue with disrespecting each other in this film at all, even when they become closer together and they get to the point of understanding why both of them act the way they do. It didn't change the fact that they were still bluntly honest with one another about everything. And that's what makes this film tick. And because this is just a rather enjoyable film here, anchored by an Oscar caliber performance by Ms. Randolph, it's a lot here for Alexander Payne film, but this is what he perfects, is these grounded characters going through heartbreaking situations and coming out the other side of them. That's what most of his movies are for me. And this one just feels like the best of that type of film. Here, Paul Giamatti is just on screen is excellent here. As just this disheveled teacher who is a pompous a-hole to anybody humanly possible, but also we see the heartbreakiness behind why he's the way he is. And when those big reveals happen later on in the film, you can't help but feel sorry that Paul is even in the boat that he's in. So you finally understand why he does what he does, but also it's the contradiction of, because he's going through certain things, you would assume he would not bring the kids through them, also his students. But amazingly, he still does that because that's just the way he is. As everyone in the film has absolutely no issue telling Paul, you know the kids don't like you. Most of the staff don't like you. But it's his deposition that all of them don't like. And it's just an amazing piece of comedy, but amazing piece of setups that make this film extremely enjoyable. But The Holdovers, brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. Out of a possible 10, I give The Holdovers a 9 out of 10. This, again, my favorite Alexander Payne film. And maybe I need to go back and watch Descendants again because I absolutely love that film. But in a recent memory of his films, and with my mind, this is the best one I've seen. It is heartbreaking. It is touching. It's possibly the most funny film that he's done. Like, it's so many comedic elements in this film that work wonders with this film. And the young man who plays Angus, if this is his first role, it's going to be hard to top this. Because Angus is such a complicated character to play. And he has so many secrets that as the film goes on and all of those secrets are revealed, and we fully understand why this kid is the way he is, it is extremely touching. But then again, Miss Divine Joy Randolph as Mary, if she is not nominated for Best Supporting Actress, at this point, I don't think there's a way she should be able to even lose Best Supporting Actress. But if she's not nominated, it's something wrong with anybody. Any form of academy that has to vote on these things, if she's not nominated for Best Supporting Actress, you're completely missing out. She is divine in this film. It is so amazing, her performance here. And it's so subtle. It's not an over-the-top performance, but Mary is just a character that clearly cares for people, but also is bluntly honest with people with no issue, while still mourning the loss of her son. It is a scene I want to say it's about the second or third act of this film where they all go to a Christmas party, and we fully get to see the effects of her losing her child has on her. And those scenes are gut-wrenching the way it is. But then when we flip back into her becoming herself again, it's still with brutal honesty towards Paul about the way he treats Angus. It's so much going on there, but all of it is absolutely good. But check it out when it drops. Let us know what you think. This has been another JVS movie review brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. Peace, people.